Hello everybody, this is a short briefing just to respond to some thoughts and suggestions and ideas around why our remote learning offer looks as it does and has been set up in the way that it has. Now we have our YouTube channel. It's a perfect opportunity for us just to have this sort of communication platform. And even when school reopens, it's something that we will continue to use and can make lots and lots of use of. So here goes. Here's just I'll keep it short, but just tell you something around why it looks as it does. And in doing so, just answer one or two questions that we might have had here and there. So a few people have said, well, why have we planned to filter out the day across a school day rather than just having everything in a batch to go out first thing on a morning or at a particular moment. It's really important to state that the expectations of remote learning are quite high. I think I would say that there's got to be an element of realism, and I think the government have to understand that a primary school can only do so much. But one thing that's very clear is that we should attempt to offer a certain amount of learning, a minimum amount within a day, and really where possible try to offer a school style day at home. We sort of take that very seriously, and we feel there's an important opportunity here to try and make a school day at home. And that school day at home won't suit everyone at home. But in trying to make it like that and use the forums that we have and the systems that we have, it means that people can spend a school day at home using the timetable that we have, or people can go on at various points, dip in, do a little bit, or if they want, wait until the end of session 4, till all the sessions have been filtered out, and then they can do all that session in one little group, one little time. If it's better for people to dip in and do it on an evening, they can do it on an evening. If it's better for people to do it at weekend, they can do it at weekend. And of course, some people might say, well, I'm going to dip into some bits and not others. Our role as a school is to offer that school day at home. We've made that commitment and that decision. And we think that's really important, to offer a potential school day from 8:45 to 3:15 when you're not here. How you choose to dip into that, how much you choose to do at once or when you choose to do it, has to be to meet the needs of each family. And each family will have different demands and different needs and different requests and different ways of looking at it. So that's kind of how we wanted to do it. A school day, a commitment to that, but flexible enough for every family to dip in and out of at a time that's right for them. If that's following the day, then fine. If it's in one go later on, that's fine. If it's one or two bits at the time and then do rest later, that's fine. We're making the core offer. How you choose to approach that is personalised to yourselves. The one caveat to that, the one thing you have to consider, is the teachers are live in school managing this with their helpful hints and their blogs and their questions and their responses as quickly as possible. What I can't do is say after 3:15 that the teachers can be there to respond to questions. They can't be. I suppose it's like watching TV on catch-up. If you watch it live, you're going to get a live response. But then if you pick it up later, for whatever reason, that live response can't be there. I can't have teachers there 20 hours a day because people can pick it up at different points. That bit I can't do. But what I am doing is saying that my teachers are here in the building, committed to supporting live learning and preparing for that and answering to that between 8:45 and 3:15 with their lunch break built in. So I hope you can see there what you will gain by following the school day, and if you can, the one downside to that. but I can't think of a greater solution other than have teachers on 24-hour watch, which isn't possible and isn't reasonable. But they are in school every day and they are managing the provision from 8:45 to 3:15. So I hope that gives you a little bit of perspective around the reasons for the school day and the opportunities within there to personalise that school day according to your beliefs, needs, work patterns and home life. You can tailor what we've made to your needs. And if you want to follow it directly, the school day is live and there, and we are at the other end of that remote device managing that in those school hours. I'm really pleased and really proud that we've been able to offer that. Okay, next thing, why have we chosen the sort of platform that we have? We've generally tried to use Purple Mash as our chosen platform. If I take you back to September, when we reopened, it was clear to myself as head teacher and leaders in school that a second wave, a third wave of this virus that was talked about in winter was going to hit. I suppose we didn't know about a new variant at the time to make things worse. But we took that very seriously, and without making a fuss about it, we undertook a sort of 8-week body of work. Now that body of work allowed us to look at the finances that we had available, not ones that the government had promised or living off false promises from them, what we actually had and would have should a second school closure happen because of a second or third wave. In that 8-week period, we assigned a remote learning leader who is Miss Haythornthwaite, who I have to say is doing an outstanding job for our school community, an outstanding job, and I commend her highly amidst this process. And within there, we sort of put a kind of working group together to explore different remote learning platforms, some of which were kind of camera in the room, face-to-face learning. Some you might say look like the sort of Zoom or Microsoft Teams. Others were the sort of platform that are similar to Purple Mash. They all have pros and cons. None of them are perfect. And some of them are particularly difficult to achieve without the government putting it together for us on a national scale. So in the end, we tried out all of them. We tried out one or two of the sort of face-to-face elements with parents' evening in mind. The truth of the matter is that it is easier than it is in reality. It sounds easier than it is to have a camera in the room and teaching live. The sort of thing works really well for the Graham Norton show, where you can have a guest in a one-to-one interview on a TV. The problems we found with having sort of cameras live learning are that you've potentially got up to 30 children tapping into that. That doesn't work with our philosophy of learning within school. We've worked hard since I became head on the notion of pupils' individual starting points and addressing those starting points and giving children input at the level that they need input to access work. That is something that I feel is essential to effective learning in the building or otherwise. When you have one generic screen sharing with all the children, there is no way you can hit all the different layers of ability within that class. It is impossible. And in a school such as ours, we have very wide-ranging levels of ability. Many of our children need constant one-to-one support and checking. Putting a camera in a room and having a lovely Microsoft Teams style approach looks good. But when we tested it, it generally leaves 20 plus children all at sea and just looking back at a screen smiling. Because a teacher can only give so much relevant input to so many children at any one time. That's really, really important, that message. So we quickly realised that although a screen was nice, it wasn't actually going to help very much. So instead we looked at ways in which we could give more personalised input. And this led us to the Purple Mash style option, where we can upload work, but then teachers can give helpful hints and personalised comments upon requests that are made. And by doing it in writing, it makes it clearer to respond and feedback. We basically feel this is a much better way of addressing starting points and needs of a wide range of abilities. Yes, it takes out the screen element, but actually, if that's just for show, it doesn't give us very much. Purple Mash and the blog style response means we can personalise an answer. We can personalise every bit of feedback. We lose the screen, but it is more personalised to each child that is accessing that. And that's what made us favour that style of platform. From there, we looked at various different platforms, and in the end, the one that we had, Purple Mash, was as effective as any other. They all have little pros and cons. They're all affected by the internet speed and the internet connection and power, and they're all affected by what people have on their own computers to be able to open files. They've all got the same foibles, the same issues. We chose to use one that the children and teachers were already familiar with. So if we had to move into an emergency lockdown situation, that familiarity would reduce the need to get to know something new. It would mean we could start quicker. So that's how we approached the Purple Mash idea. Then from there we established the concept of we need a school day. And we determined that a school day would be there, but on the Tuesday, the 5th of January, we'd already decided that whenever this came about, the first day would be get things on there, does it work? And then from the second day, we'd roll out this proposed timetable, which is exactly what we've done. A timetable, as I've said already, that you can dip in and out of. It will just lack, like the on-demand TV, the live element if you tap into it later. What I would say, don't forget, you can always ask a question about yesterday when the following day comes up. Teachers are always there the following day. We also decided that we would leave a week's learning up for a whole week. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday would build up and would stay on there all the way through Saturday and Sunday as well. So those who want to sit and do bits on Saturday and Sunday because of the work-life situation or the context or the computer situation can do it then. But what we don't want is confusion. So at the end of the Sunday or the start of the Monday, that previous week's work will then be taken down. That's probably long enough to go back. And to be fair, children can only go so far so back, or so back so far, whichever way you want to put it, and catch up with work. There has to come a point at which, right, we move that away and we have clarity and we move on. So that's how we made that call. Some schools, for right or wrong, may have chosen to use a scheme or dip into other existing online remote learning forums elsewhere. I've been very clear with our development plan since I arrived that we were going to establish our own curriculum for our own school based upon the national curriculum requirements. Our remote learning offer will not compromise upon that. We will not go and find something else that is roughly what we want. We're trying to build something for our school, our children, our community. And although we are remote in our learning style, I want to take the principle of building it ourselves for our classes, for our children, because we know them best. And I've asked the teachers to take particular care to make sure that it is personalised and created as much as possible by us. And if there is a resource that's chosen from somewhere else, it is very specifically chosen to meet the needs of the class and the outcomes that we're looking for. So that's why we've chosen to do that in that particular way. I've asked the teachers as well to consider the lengths of units when we're off, so how long an English unit will go for and how long a maths unit will go for, and to think of what they would do in class and to replicate that length of unit if possible when children aren't in school. Obviously we have a February half term, 6 weeks, as that initial period that we know about. So we might have 2 or 3 English units, one long English unit and a short one, a few short maths ones in there, and of course all the while delivering the When I Grow Up curriculum as much as we can on a computer screen. In conclusion then, I hope that's addressed some initial questions. We thank you for those. I've built into the school day 2 Q&A feedback times for children and adults because we want to know what you think. We want to know your views. Hopefully this briefing has addressed some of those initial questions and how you can get round those. I think we have, judging by the sort of feedback we had yesterday, and we had lots of positive, lots of great engagement, and 1 or 2 questions about how about this, how about that. Hopefully I've addressed those. We'll continue to look at things day on day. The homepage on our website talks about daring to do, learning, trying. Our vision talks about we're the greatest learners when we learn from mistakes and what's wrong and how to make it better. The remote learning offer is extensive. It covers a full school day. It allows for children to have a regular rhythm through the day. The teachers are live throughout the day, but it's also highly adaptable to a kind of on-demand system for those who've got different work and life patterns. I'm really pleased where we are at the moment with it. But Ms Haythornthwaite, myself, the teachers, the senior leaders are monitoring to see how it goes. And if we feel there are changes that need to be made or revisions, we will make them. But we will not rush to make constant change. That will cause confusion and create panic, but hysteria in what's it going to look like tomorrow. We have to build a consistent, reliable model, and that's what we're attempting to do. So if we do make changes, they'll be thought through, they'll be careful, and they'll be methodical. Kind of covers everything really, doesn't it? As I say, in summary, it's remote learning is no replacement for school. Although technology has changed in the last 20, 30 years beyond belief, and in the last 10 beyond all recognition, essentially school is a social process. It is a living and breathing entity that requires 2 people to mutually work together. It's been like that for 500 plus years in some form. Remote learning is not the same as school and never, ever, ever can be. We've done our best to replicate that, but it has many barriers and issues that in some ways we can't overcome in this generation. And it's important to know it isn't the same. And even if the government will say it has to be this or that, that's the bare bones of it. It can be everything we can make it, but it is not school. I noticed the government says schools must be open. So that tells you that they feel it's a live experience. It's an experience that must be shared in person, and there is no replacement. So anything else is not comparable to a school day. But we have measured, given time, thought through, and given our best. We've trialled and tested ideas. I've talked you through that process. We've used the funds we have available. I'm very proud of the fact that we've committed our school resources to making sure that everybody that's asked for a device has received a device. That's not a government statement. That has happened, and we will continue to do that. I can't promise you internet speeds. I'll be fast enough to deliver everything. I can't promise you that sometimes you won't have frustrating uploads or delays while things spiral round. That's the internet. I can't program the whole area with an internet speed and remote devices fast enough to make it foolproof. There isn't such a thing. But I'll tell you, we're giving our very best, and we're in this building, a soulless, empty, cold building, every day planning for learning, not thinking about our own particular health or family requirements. We are here delivering our job every day, and the sooner we can get our children back in our school, not only the happier will I be, but I'll feel that fulfilment coming back. We want our children in here, their eyes sparkling, ready to learn, and we miss their smile. Never underestimate the passion and desire me and my staff have for our Mayfield School and our community. Our remote learning is everything we can make it at the moment, and we will use all our skills, all our resources, all our talents to continue making it everything we can. We thank you all for taking time to watch this and for all of you trying to find your way through this and engage with it. I know many of you have worries far beyond just school life about where's the money coming from, how are we going to pay for this or that. This is an unprecedented and terrible, terrible time. But we will rise again, and you have a committed school family here waiting for that to happen. Thanks for your time, and I'll brief you more via YouTube to keep you in touch with any things that happen or any questions I feel need answering. Take care, keep warm, keep safe. Hopefully we'll see you soon.